Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the portfolio. Welcome back to the channel. Great to have everyone back on the YouTube series, back on my Robinhood portfolio. For today's video, I thought I'd take the opportunity to discuss with you guys why I've switched to doing a lot of options trading on the Robinhood portfolio in lieu of simply doing dividend investing. That's what I started with originally with the Robinhood portfolio, but I found that through options investing, especially through covered calls, I can make quite a bit of income from the premium I receive by selling off those contracts. And for the most part, it's not too risky. So I kind of like to go through with an example here with Ford Motor Company. I think it's a great dividend stock that kind of illustrate the reasons why I've switched over to doing, again, a lot of options trading in lieu of simply doing dividend investing on the portfolio. So let's go ahead and take a look at the history tab. So in history, let's go ahead and take a look at dividends. We'll scroll back through the last couple months. I used to do a monthly dividend overview on the portfolio here. Let's go down to the 1st of June to kind of illustrate a lot of what I'm talking about with regards to options investing on the portfolio. June 1st, on the bottom of the screen, you can see Ford Motor Company has a nice healthy dividend of $1,570. If we open that up, you can see 10 cents per share for 15,700 shares. That equates to $1,570. That is credited to the account every 3 months. Ford has a dividend that is paid out quarterly. So every 3 months, if Ford does have a dividend, it will pay out $1,570. Fortunately, Ford has increased the dividend to 15 cents per share, so that will be even more at this point. So $15.70 per quarter every 3 months. If we take a look at Ford, you can see Ford has been rebounding here quite nicely, as we talked about in the last video. 1 week up 13.76%. 1 month, it's been rebounding quite nicely here, 33.24%. But if you take a look at the longer term perspective here, you can see over the last 5 years, it's only up 27.11%. That pales into comparison with some of the growth stocks that I have in the portfolio. This is a dividend stock, so yes, you'll get a nice healthy dividend, but there hasn't really been a lot of capital appreciation with Ford Motor Company. It did spike up here quite nicely to $25. If you guys remember from my prior video, this was helping the portfolio push almost $1 million. That's pulled back quite considerably here. It still is up 27.11% over the last 5 years of trading. But again, in these types of stocks, dividend stocks, you really aren't going to see tremendous growth over the longer term. You'll see stable growth. I think they're very safe plays, blue chip stocks that have good dividends. But you won't see these stocks rising 1,000% like a Tesla has over the last 5 years or so. If we take a look at my position, again, I went over this in the last video. Market share, 335,000, 35.52% of the overall portfolio. I currently have 22,900 shares. And again, let's just kind of emphasize the dividend income that I can receive with the portfolio. Going over to dividends, you can see 1570 June 1st, March 1st, December 1st of 2021. Ford did suspend its dividend for a few months while the pandemic was ongoing. But if we take a look at all history, you can see quite a few covered calls here. Up on top of Ford short call, 2,290, July 28th. If we take a look at this here, this is a roll from 8.5 to 12.16. Definitely rolled out because the price of Ford has been rebounding so nicely. Here's another short call roll, 7.29 to 8.5 for 6.57. Call assignment that we talked about in the last video. Another roll here, 7.22 to 7.29, $5,040. So you can see here, just in 1 month's worth of covered calls, it's made up for a few years in dividends with Ford Motor Company. Moving down, again, July 12th, 21.60, July 7, 26.29. So quite a few rolls here on the bottom, 3,107, June 29th. So just for the last month, 3107, 2629, 2160, 5040, 657, and 2290. So that is way more, again, than the dividend income in that comparable amount of time. So that's really why I've switched over to doing covered calls with Ford in lieu of simply focusing on dividends in the portfolio. Ford Motor Company actually does have the advantage, though. While I'm doing covered calls, if the shares are not called away, I get the dividend and the covered call as well. So I'm not only maximizing the amount of income that I can receive from Ford, I still get the dividend income, but I can also get the income from the covered calls. If we take a look at Ford Motor Company, again, you guys may think this may be somewhat risky, but let's go ahead and do trade options. Let's go out 3 months or so. It would be around November. Let's go ahead and do December 16th, for example. Again, this is paying out 15 cents per share, currently Ford Motor Company per share. So if we go through the portfolio here, you can see current price $14.63. For 15 cents, you'd have to go all the way up to $21 or so. $20 here would be 0.20. We can go sell. Let's just do one contract here. Again, with Ford Motor Company's dividend, you'd get $15. One contract is 100 shares. 100 times 0.15, 15 cents would be $15. Here it's $20 because I'm getting 20 cents per share. So just 3 months here with a very conservative covered call, I can get $5 more than I would be getting normally with Ford Motor Company's dividend. And if we do a more aggressive call, which is what I've been doing in the portfolio, let's do a very aggressive call at $15. Let's go sell one contract. You can see now instead of $15, you get $130. So this is why I've switched over to doing a lot of trading with covered calls, cash secured puts, just because the difference in the income that I can receive from dividends versus covered calls. The one big caveat here, which is sort of the elephant in the room, is taxes. Covered calls, getting that premium credited to the account definitely has much higher tax obligations than doing dividends. Dividends, if you get those qualified, which I do have all of my 4 dividends qualified, tax rate 20%. The dividends, or excuse me, the premium that I receive from the covered calls is more like 35 to 40%, actually closer to 40%. So you can see I have to pay double in taxes by doing the strategy that I'm doing, selling off covered calls. But again, I think it definitely makes up for it. The last month, I've made 10,000 plus selling off covered calls with Ford Motor Company. The dividend would be simply $1,500. I think around, well, actually, since the dividend did increase to 15 cents, more like 2,200 per every 3 months. So again, 10,000 per month versus 2,200 for 3 months. And again, if I'm doing covered calls, if I have Ford Motor Company in the portfolio, I can still do covered calls and I can still receive the dividend income. So it's a very powerful way of making passive income on stocks that you hold in the portfolio. And that's really why I've switched over in my portfolio for doing a lot of options trading. So I know there's a few viewers on the channel wondering why I have switched over to options trading from dividend investing, and that is the reason. I've just been able to make much more premium, much more income off the stocks I hold in the portfolio with options in lieu of dividends. But again, I still receive those dividends if I am selling covered calls off for stocks that I hold in the portfolio. So just wanted to quickly go through, again, why I'm doing options trading on the portfolio. I typically only sell off contracts. I think buying contracts is the more risky way of trading options. Yes, you can potentially make more money doing that, but the stock will have to go in your direction and buy a large magnitude to make up for the price that you pay for the options contracts. I, on the other hand, am receiving premium when I sell off those contracts. So even if the stock does not do what I want it to do, it still has to go quite a long ways before the options contract is not profitable when you sell off contracts, especially covered calls the way I'm doing in the portfolio. So again, just wanted to go through that. With that, I'll end this video. Again, I want to say thanks to all the viewers and all the subscribers supporting the channel. Immensely appreciate that. If you guys do like the channel, if you guys do like the video series, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If there's a particular video you guys want on the channel, please let me know in the comment threads down below, and I'll do my best to put out a video for you guys. So until next video, we'll see you then.